All right, guys, welcome to my first How to Design series. I've been talking about this for a very long time now on my YouTube, or no, I'm sorry, not on my YouTube, but on my Instagram. And I've just been really busy with work. So now I finally have some time to record some content for you guys. I know there's like a bunch of videos that I've been trying to get out, but I didn't think the quality was good enough. So I decided to just start a brand new project and maybe it'll go somewhere and this is where it's going. So this is gonna be part one of a multi-part design series from me. And right now I'm just kind of recording as I go. So, as I complete the steps, I'm gonna record video and share data or share what I'm doing. All right, so let's go ahead and get started right now. So I've decided to record from my desktop so that way I can kind of freeze whenever I want to. So yeah, let's get started. And right now, what I want to show you guys is how I would start a project out. If it's like a brand new, completely brand new project I've never done before. And the best thing to do is to find a let's see we can Let's see if we can pause it just in time. No, no. Yeah. So what I did here, I found a picture of a Bugatti Veyron, and so I wanted to redesign the Bugatti Veyron. Um, I am not happy with the Bugatti Chiron. I saw it in person when it first came out at Pebble Beach, and it was just way too flat. I mean, if you look at this Bugatti Veyron, it's just it's perfect. It has a lot of volume on it. I mean, you can see how much how much form is being shown here and back here, and the back is really also really beautiful. And I wanted to try to capture that. I wanted to try to capture what I think Bugatti is, and I think Bugatti is this. The Veyron is Bugatti, and and I also understand that to do a Veyron, it's very expensive. So yeah, um, yeah. So let's get started. So first, again, I found a picture of the Veyron, and from there, what we're gonna do is we're gonna exaggerate the wheel size. Again, this is a video that I got from Procreate. I'm gonna the wheels are gonna increase by a little bit. The wheels are gonna increase a little bit. So you can see here the wheels are increased. Just give it much more of a presence. Again, it's good to use a real picture because you want to keep the proportions of certain things realistic. Like the mirrors, the gas cap, the lugs on the wheels, tire size, even some of the like lighting and stuff like that. It keeps your sketch grounded and it makes it more real. So that's why you want to do that. Again, you can see me like kind of experimenting with different sizing and stuff. That it's okay like to kind of exaggerate a little bit, but I wanted more volume. So basically, what I'm doing here is I'm chopping up the photo. So yeah, you can see an old sketch that I did here. I wasn't happy with it, and this is a purely inspirational sketch. Is kind of what I called it, like just kind of doing something out of the blue, something crazy. I didn't like it, so that's why you see me overlaying, taking my own design, overlaying it with the um, current Veyron. Yeah, you can see like I'm trying to like make everything fit, trying to make the theme that I already came up with kind of fit. So it didn't work very well, so I just threw away the sketch and I came up with a brand new one. So I'm really obsessed with the Bugatti airplane. There's a Bugatti airplane that Bugatti designed. It was never actually made, but recently someone made it and flew it successfully ish, kind of, but it kind of crashed, unfortunately. Um, but it's a beautiful airplane, and I want to say it's called the P100, I think. and it's awesome. It's just the most amazing thing. So I've taken that inspiration and try to add like wings and stuff like that to my design. Here I'm taking it to the 0, 50, 100 technique. 0 being white, 50 being gray, and then 100 being black. Um, it's those codes they come from Copic markers. So 50 being 50% again. 0 is white, which is the white of the paper, and then 100 is the 100 marker. This technique here is pretty cool. I like this technique. It's really quick and really fast, and you can go come up with a design really quickly, and it allows you to play with form, like just like on the whim. But you have to understand though. You have to understand what the form is doing. So you have to like build your form knowledge in your head as much as possible. Um, look at like lots of different inspirations. You can be inspired by anything. So for my Bugatti, again, it's inspired by that airplane. I'll put a picture of it up right here. Yeah, as you can see, it's like very organic and very very volumetric. So I'm trying to play with the different themes, and Bugatti has this kind of two-tone theme, like two-tone within the arch or within the oval, I guess if you want to call it that. And as you can see, I switch back and forth between line drawing and the 0, 50, 100 technique a lot. You can see there that what was I doing? So again, the idea here is the gray is reflecting light off the ground, so that's why this arrow is there. The body is black, and that's kind of taking color reflections away from like the surrounding area, and then the highlight, which is the white, that's the light. So that's the basis of this technique. It's a very difficult technique to grasp. It took me a very long time actually to learn how to do this correctly. Like I knew of it for a very long time, but it was just I didn't I didn't fully grasp it for a very very long time. Again, you can see that I just kind of copied the wheels across. I made the wheels one time and I just kind of copied it from one sketch to the next one. And in this design, I'm not focused on the wheel design, so I kind of just came up with a generic wheel that kind of look good. Sometimes I even use like wheel designs that other people have made. It makes it much easier because first you want to focus on the general design of the car, and then you want to go and design the details like the wheels and the trim and the grill and the lights. So again, I'm really focused on form generation and making the form really beautiful and really nice, and how the relation it is between the form and the lines and the wheels. Yeah, so I really like working in side view first. Before I knew how to design cars, I was always quickly jumping into three-quarter view. And I realized that if you can nail down the side view, you can get, I want to say, 80 to 90% of design down. Um, and then from the side view, you go on to the plan views and the front views and the rear view. But I think the side view is the most important view for cars. Um, Maybe not so much for supercars. So this is a supercar. Like each type of design, car design or car segment, has its own way of designing, and like supercars, it's actually more about the plan view of the design and not so much the side view. So I just chose to start with the side view because that's how I always start. And yeah, so here I came up with something. I just was like not liking any of the designs that I made. It was too organic. So I wanted to play with the idea of organic like line. The main theme of the design is organic, right? You got this right here, this horseshoe shape. But then inside, I wanted to play with the idea of like sharp lines. So sharp lines within an organic line, which is kind of a cool contrast, I think. And it's something that I like to try to play with a lot. So here I'm really like excited about the sketch. I really liked it, and I was really happy. And that's generally how a good design happens. You can kind of just feel it. You can just kind of feel it happening. You can kind of feel like, okay, like this is the good one. This is the one that I like. And so, and at that moment, that's when you want to be like, okay, I'm gonna take this sketch, add a few more details to it, and then I'm gonna move it into the plan view. So that's that for the side view. So here, I take the plan view, I take the side view into a new document, and now I'm gonna line up, like here I'm lining up the wheels, um, both the front and the rear wheels, and then the overall length of the vehicle. And then I'll even line up the theme eventually. But I still like to try to leave it kind of loose because right here you're still kind of exploring and still kind of just trying to find shapes and designs. I mean, even looking at the sketch right now, I can already think of a new design that I want to do. So what I'm doing here is I'm setting up the document to where I can do a plan view. And yeah, you can see like the beginning, like I've already set a layer in Procreate to symmetry, and I set the symmetry right here in the middle, and it goes all the way across. And so when you sketch one side, it also sketch on the side. And I love sketching in this kind of symmetry because it feels so good. Because it almost feel like you're doing minimal work, and then you're getting really cool results. Again, you want to try to explore, and that's kind of like what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of like roughing everything in with the red ink. You always have to be experimenting, always, always. So I'm just playing with the idea of like I think with this first sketch, I was doing a typical design of an organic Bugatti, and I decided to render it because rendering it is fun. And again, starting off the 0 50 100, and now I go to my one of my favorite techniques of just using airbrush and to quickly just do it. Yeah, so I don't know. I wasn't quite happy with this, but I decided to just go ahead and try to finish as much of it as I can, just and and see what happens. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll just move on to the front view. Yeah, the front view was kind of nice too, but I was like, I still wasn't feeling it. But sometimes, even though you don't feel the design, you kind of just have to go through with it and just kind of push it and see just see where it goes and see what happens with it, and you never know. And sometimes when you just kind of finish a sketch and just kind of like come back to it later, you can be like, oh well, hey, that looks all right, or I like this part, and I'll reuse this part. So you can see like I'm sketching the mechanicals a little bit on this side. You can see the wheels and the rims and stuff like that. I kind of like this idea of like this horseshoe with this gap in the middle. It's really nice. So again, design inspired by the airplane. You can see the airplane here taking shape. That's the airplane wing. Um, that's the front. Normally the propeller would be here. So I just love the idea of taking inspiration from an airplane. So again, I'm still exploring. Just it's always about exploring. It's always about taking the time to just kind of explore different ideas. You don't ever want to rush. You want to give yourself time. Um, it's a balance of art and design. Like art, you want art is like the ultimate, expression of like I feel like time. Like artists artists can sit around and come up with a lot of ideas all they want in this art. But design, you have a goal to meet. You have, investors or something that's trying to make money, or your manager is trying to push it to get done. You got to put this into production. So there is a sense of art in it, but it's mostly science, and you kind of have to have that balance because eventually this vehicle has to be made, and you can't sit here and sketch for 20 years. I mean, I wish I could, but you know, eventually you have to finish. So here I'm going into the interior, and I mean, the video shows that I'm going pretty quick, but I spend quite a lot of time on the interior actually. I'm trying to get the mechanics kind of correct, kind of cool looking at the same time. The interior is the most tedious part because it's such a, you have to go into so much detail. And as you can see, like even though I'm not done with the interior. I just got to a level where like, okay, this is kind of cool. And so now I'm going back and doing a shape around the interior, and maybe there has to be a balance, right? Like you have to find like it has to work with the interior. It can't just be like a total exaggeration. And I've seen that before too in some professional design sketches where you look at the sketch and you're like, wow, this thing looks like a crazy interior. And then when you see the pictures, you're like, oh well, okay, it looks nothing like that. But at the same time, this is something I've learned while working with Frank Stephenson, is you have to come up with a sketch that's just wow, right? Like whether it be color that makes it push that extra realm of like wow factor, um, the form, the color, the wheel size, or whatever. You have to sell your sketch, your design, to get picked. And this these car projects take quite a long time. So they take like 4 years, right? So your design has to last for 4 years through the design process and still be fresh when it comes out. And you have to like keep everybody excited. You're as a designer, you're kind of like the cheerleader. Of course, in the company, different companies have different cheerleaders, whether it be led by a designer or led by engineering. It's always a balance. So you want the crazy technology and the crazy um, speed or whatever, right? Power, and you have to have the design to look. You have to design it to look good and go fast. As a designer, that's your job, is to make it look good. And then the engineer is supposed to be there like, okay, hey, you can do this, you can do that. Or maybe even the engineer will come in like, hey, we found this crazy new material that makes the car lighter, so let's try to use it. So again, your job is to be the cheerleader, and to cheer the company on. You know. Again, now that I've finished a plan view that I like, I went in and I did a new side view. Kind of, I just tweaked it a little bit. Added more detail, added more detail in the added more detail here in the back and the front, just to see how it looks. Kind of just adjusting everything, kind of massaging everything. Again, this document is like a week's worth of work. So, I didn't sit in one try and do this. So again, guys, it takes a lot of time to do this, to get the right look and the right feel. Um, you're not going to be able to sit down in like an hour and do this. That's why designing cars is an actual job. As you can see, now I'm going back into the interior, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna, I set a document, I set a layer to symmetry, resketch a new seat, and just put it in. So at this point, if I remember correctly, I am moving on to the interior design, and my plan is to come up with a nice, decent plan view of an interior and try to move it into yeah, so exactly that's what I'm doing right now. So now I'm moving it to like a front, like your front facing kind of tip up view. You can see a little bit. You can see a little bit of the, yeah, you can see the center console. You can see the door panels. This is kind of a typical design. I feel like, I think if I were to come up with something crazier, I would even go into like VR sketching and just kind of sketch something in VR and come up with some crazy forms. Because this is kind of a this is kind of a conservative design, you know, because you still got the IP, you got the center console, you got steering wheel, so it's very very simple. Yeah, so you know, I love this look of like there's a bunch of designers out there that do it. Like you can see the interior and inside, you know, it adds that sense of like realism to it, where like okay, whoa, like this guy knows what he's talking about, even though he really doesn't. So yeah, I'm sorry for not tilting the document, but like you can see, like now I'm planning out like a 3/4 view of the interior just to see how it is. You know, the idea here is to have this tube that runs from the back of the car to the front. I mean, it goes through like this, kind of like tilted, and then it has this like propeller shape that kind of sticks out from it. So again, the idea of that airplane, you know, that's what I'm trying to do. And to be honest, I kind of lost sight of the general theme of the exterior, which is, you know, organic versus inorganic. Um, Once I think when I move forward to do the interior again, I will revisit it and come up with a better theme. And you know, like right now, even I think that I'm gonna redo the design, the exterior design. So here, I'm doing the seat design from different angles, and I'm just trying to come up with some different shapes. The idea is like, you know, like this is like a shell, and this is leather right here, and then back here, you can see the carbon um, structure underneath. So it's a really cool design. I can't actually. I'm really excited to kind of render this out. And yeah, so there you go. This is gonna be part one of the design series, and in this part, you know, it's not much of a deep dive so much as it's just like a general overview of what I do. What I'm planning to do is I'm gonna start a Patreon to like release videos, so like, you know, I could spend a whole 20, 30, 40 minutes even on just talking about the exterior, or talking about the side view, talking about the plan view, talking about the front view, and just focusing on the different details that make each view special and how you can line it all up. So once I get that going, I will let you guys know when that goes live. So thank you very much for being patient and watching my videos and following my Instagram, watching my stories. Um, Hopefully, I can produce more content if I have time. But the plan now is in motion, and you know, now that I've started, I have to finish it. And so this is going to be the very first series of many, and it's going to be the most exciting because it's a supercar. It's the Veyron, right? I'm redesigning the infamous Veyron, the car that, you know, was that goes like 250 miles per hour or something like that. Yeah. So again, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully, you guys, you know, subscribe for more content. Stick around and yeah. See you guys later.